Hello guys, in this video we're gonna talk about let and const, the new keywords for declaring variables in ES6, which I believe they're really helpful and help us make a little bit difference between different types of variables, I would say. So let and const are blocked scope, and let me explain you how this works. So this is a block of code. So we do let some var equals blah. So if you do this and try to console log, we're gonna get an error. Sorry, not let, some var. Actually, I should write some let. Okay. I'm really bad with naming variables. Even on the projects, I have to struggle a little bit till I get the right name, because it's the naming of the variables I believe is really important. So if we run this in the node terminal, which has most of the ES6 features implemented, over 90%. So let's see, we should get an error. Let is not defined, because let is defined only between these brackets, this some let variable. So if we would move this inside the brackets, we would be all good. Let's clear, and we have blah. But let's move this down here and see what's the difference between this and var. The thing is, var has global scope and function scope. So as you can see, the big difference is that var gets assigned the value blah, and the let is just available. It was just available inside the block. The same would have been for a constant. And another important thing is to remember is that let and const are block scope, and they don't get hoisted in functions or in the context that they're running. So I'm going to do an example with a function so you guys can see. Everything what I said now about let, it's the same for const, so there's no difference. So if we would do something like if let's say true, which is always gonna go through this if, we're gonna do let some let killer names. We write it again with blah, and we do return some let. Yeah, let's do a console log. Okay, so if all goes well, let's say we should get an error, because let it's available just inside this block, and we're trying to return it here. Yes, we're getting the error. Let is not defined. Okay. So this is really important to remember. But of course, if I would put this inside here, actually I think I missed the bracket. Actually delete it. Okay, return. Now it would work properly. Or for example, if I would have done something like this to declare the let at the beginning and then do like this. So it works perfectly. Okay, so now let's see what would be the big difference between let and const. I'm gonna leave this one here. I'm just gonna comment it out, and let's see const some person or name, let's say, equals Daniel, and let age 32, because age can change, name rarely, so it's basically a constant. It's really important to know that you are not able to change the value of a constant, and for let you're able to change the value of after it's assigned. So let's do this. I'm gonna try to change the content of the constant to uh, Danny. Let's say I want to shorten my name, and let's try to run this. We should get an error. Actually, we're getting, of course, assignment to constant variable, so you're not able to change the constant variable after it was declared and assigned a value to it. And for age, of course, we can do 33. I'm gonna clear this so you guys can see the result, actually to see that there's no errors. Okay, one thing that I believe is really important to know about const is that if you have an object, I'm gonna do a little bit more. So const person equals, and I'm gonna write name Daniel, age 32. It's really important to know that you can change the properties inside the object. So even if it's a constant, you can do something like person dot name equals Danny, and I'm gonna print console log this out so you guys can see the difference, that it was actually changed even if it's a constant. So it's really important to remember this. So I'm gonna console log person. Okay, I'm gonna clear this out. Oh, actually I forgot to. So as you can see, the name was changed to Danny. So this is really important, and the same thing works for of course for let. If you declare a person with let, of course you can change it because you're allowed to change there, but I think it's really important to remember this for constant. And person array. I'm just gonna do an array with names. Daniel, Mary, Maria, and that's it. Okay, and actually I'm gonna move this one a little bit up, so we have and I'm gonna move this one up, and let's so normally you say, oh, it's a constant, you have an array, that's it, you have to vary elements in the array you can change. Of course you can change, as we did this the same with the object. So you have to keep in mind that for arrays and objects you can push and modify the properties inside. So you can, in an array you can push new elements, and in an object type you can change the properties. So let's push Jane. Okay, and then I'm gonna do a console log of person array. So as you can see, we push change Jane, there were no errors for this. So I think it's really important to remember this. And I would say for good practice, if I have a function, some function, and I want to do something like we did before here, like if true and do something, I would actually try not to do like let make a variable blah and write 33 here. I think for the best practice is to write them at the beginning. So when somebody sees your function, of course functions should be as small as possible, but when somebody comes and sees your functions, you have all the variables declared here. So I would do probably something like this, and let's say, of course you could return blah directly, but return blah, I would do something like this. And also for me is really a good indicator if I have a constant, which is a person, and I'm planning to change some properties of this. I would actually declare it with let, because it's clear for me that I'm gonna change some values, or I'm gonna add some properties to that variable. So it's gonna be mutated or change properties. I don't know which would be the perfect word for this. So I would say for best practice, at least for me, I do it like this. So for me, when I say let person something, I know that, oh, okay, this is gonna be changed later on. And yep, that's it, guys, and have a good day.